Well, good evening and welcome to Town Hall. This is the Get to Know show, and this evening we're going to get to know Lucy Nicandri, and I'm so excited about this evening and for her to be able to join us tonight. I've known Lucy for a little while personally, and I'm just so impressed. She's such a wonderful, caring person, and I'm just so glad that she's going to be with us here. And I want to tell you a little bit about her. Now, the first thing I want to say is that I'd love for you to be able to hit that. Tap that love button. I say smash that love button, but don't smash it. Don't break your computer or don't, break your phone. Just tap it. Tap that love button and share this video out. Share the video out with your friends and the groups that you happen to belong to. We'd certainly appreciate that. And but let me tell you about Lucy. She's been here in Sarasota now for quite a few years, since 1982. Her career began back in the marketing department within the banking industry. It's where she started. And after a 12-year stint, she moved into the nonprofit field. She worked for the United Way here in Sarasota in a variety of roles, which included major gifts, corporate gift giving campaigns, and ended her career there as the vice president of marketing and events. And she went on to work at the Florida Center, which is located right here in Sarasota as well. Great organization. We're going to talk a little bit more about them as well. But the Florida Center for Early Childhood, and she was the vice president of marketing and special events for them as well. And that was since 2009. And she served as the executive director for Suncoast Charities for Children since 2009. So, as executive director for Suncoast Charities for Children, Lucy produces two major festivals every year right here in Sarasota. One of which is my favorite time of the year. I love it. I love the 4th of July, of course, celebrating our independence in America. Even though I'm from Canada, I love America. I've been here for a long time too. But I just love the 4th of July. And every year we normally have boat races here in town. It's so much fun. I've been watching it for 20 years. It's a great thing. So she puts that on every year here, as well as a festival, Thunder by the Bay, and that is so awesome. We're going to talk about that too as well. She brings in top name talent to come in and play for us. They play for free. All of the money that's raised for this goes directly to Suncoast Charities for Children, and then they give that money to local foundations here in town who are helping children. And I'll let her explain that in a minute. She's organized and chaired over 100 various events for charity, from golf tournaments to outdoor concerts, fashion shows, black tie dinners, multi-day festivals. And in '96, she organized the Olympic torch relay right here in Sarasota, directly with the Atlanta Committee for the Olympic Games. And this past February, she's also served as the lead liaison for U.S. Powerboat teams. This is with respect to the boat races here every year, the sponsors and the VIPs attending the 2015 Qatar Cup in Doha, Qatar. So, boy, big stuff worldwide. So she's also the recipient of the Tourism Leader of the Year award from the Sarasota Convention and Visitors Bureau, and a past recipient of WEDU's award for outstanding achievement in special events. And she recently received the first annual David R. Mills Service Above Self Award from the Rotary Club right here in Sarasota as well. Now, I want to remind you, go ahead, share this video out to your friends. Without further ado, I'm going to bring Lucy on in here. I can't wait for that. Remember to put it into the groups that you belong to as well. It's going to be a great evening. We're going to be talking about volunteering. And welcome, Lucy. Thank you so very much for joining us this evening.
Well, it's great to be here, Stephen. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm so pleased, and I'm just honored, and I want the viewers to know that I have thought about doing this broadcast and telling you about Suncoast Charities for Children for almost a year.
I know you have, and we finally made it happen.
We did, and that's the exciting part. It is happening, and you're here, you're watching it. Live viewers, we appreciate you. Lucy is here with me, and she is the executive director of the Suncoast Charities for Children. So I'd like to start, actually, Lucy, by you telling us about when you were growing up and what influenced you to be what you are today.
Wow. Well, I grew up in a small little town in upstate New York called Auburn, New York. Very small town. And throughout high school, I really didn't know what I wanted to do. And it was funny because I had come down to Florida on spring break with my best friends. Their grandparents lived in Clearwater at the time. By the time I was a junior and senior at high school, I knew I wanted to be in Florida. And my parents said, look, you need to go to college, at least get a 2-year degree. I was more of a hands-on type of person. I couldn't wait to work and make money. So I went to a local community college and I got my associate's degree in business. At that time, it was business and secretarial science. I had no idea what I wanted to do. But the one thing that always kept coming up is even during my teenage years, every time there was an event or something to be organized, I always seemed to be the one doing the organizing. And I guess I just had a knack for it because to me it wasn't work. And, you know, in the back of my mind, I think it was always there. I just never recognized it. And in 1982, I graduated. And I came down to how I ended up in Sarasota was my father had a very good friend. They were policemen together in upstate New York. He retired here, he and his wife. They had a rental unit. I had no job. Graduated, packed my car, moved down, and this time was hired in the banking industry. I started from the bottom up, worked as a secretary, then got into the marketing department. I did some continuing education, night school. And I remember working 3 jobs when I first came to Florida just to survive. At that time, I was 20 years old, and the rest is history. It's a wonderful community. I'm glad I landed here. And Stephen, I appreciate the great introduction, but I always have to put out there, it's not just me. I have a great team behind me. So many volunteers, a great board of directors, and they're really the ones that help make this all happen.
That's so awesome. It does always take a team, doesn't it?
It does. It does. We've got some fabulous volunteers and sponsors, and we have a board of 10 that really get involved and help support me and support all the events we do.
That's so awesome. Well, I'm really proud to say that I am a volunteer. I started volunteering finally. I mean, I love these races. That's what I enjoyed.
Yep.
So I said, you know what? It's time for me to give back. It's time for me to help support this event. And so I was doing the boat races last year, and that's where it started. And I recognize
We're so thankful for that. Thank you.
You're very welcome. And then I'm going to be working for you at the end of the month here. That's going to be so awesome. Now, I guess we'll go there. I mean, we don't have boat races this year because of COVID-19.
Yeah. It's a shame, you know, like a lot of other events, you know, the challenge is the social distancing. Until we know how we can manage that better, to pack the beach. I met with city officials, county officials. It was a very tough decision for us to make. It's a big revenue generator for the charity as well as the community. And then we were faced with also having to cancel the July 4th Bayfront fireworks. A lot of people don't realize that Suncoast Charities for Children produces those as well. And that was really not only a social distancing challenge, but also a permitting challenge with the city. So, you know, they're not going away. They'll be back next year, but it was the right thing to do just as we're starting to come out of this and hopefully continue a positive upward trend and not have as many cases.
Exactly. We're hoping that we're on the downside of it. I mean, I know it's around to stay forever really at this point, but hopefully we've done a good job because of social distancing guidelines and washing our hands. And hopefully people are boosting their immune systems like we were talking on Wednesday with Dr. Jenny, that they're getting healthy, that they're following these guidelines. And so, yeah, we're just going to have to wait till next year for the boat races and the fireworks, darn it. But that's the way it goes.
But we are having an event which you're going to volunteer at.
Yes.
Last on the Bay Fun Run. And that's going to be, the reason we call it a fun run is there's 8 different stops along Sarasota Bay. If you have any kind of boat at all, we'd love to have you participate. Go to suncoastcharitiesforchildren.org. It has all the information. You can sign up. Friday night, there's a welcome party at the Hyatt. And then Saturday is the actual fun run. And you can pick 5 out of the 8 stops. There's a lot of wonderful restaurants on the water that are participating, and then we're going to end up at the Tarpon Bay Grill. And again, we're going to be implementing the social distancing. All the restaurants that you make the stops at, they're going to have their regulations as well. So we feel safe about that, and hopefully raise the money for the charity as well.
Well, that's the best part of it, because
Yeah.
people pay to do this. And like with the boat races, these racers are coming from all over the world,
Yeah.
as a matter of fact, these days, and they don't get paid. All that money goes to the foundation to help children in this town. Can you tell us about how you're helping other charities in town with the funds that you're raising?
I would love to, Stephen. Just to step back for a minute, the Suncoast Foundation actually started in 1986 because of the boat races. And they formed Suncoast Charities for Children. They separated the two charities for liability purposes. And it was surrounding the races that they did that. And they were very smart when they did that. So the simplistic explanation is Suncoast Charities for Children raises the money throughout all the events we do during the year. And we are 95% event revenue driven, unlike a lot of other charities. So when we talk about Thunder by the Bay and the Sarasota Powerboat Grand Prix, two of the biggest, that's where our revenue comes from. And every year from those net revenues, we give a grant to the Suncoast Foundation. They're the community reinvestment side. What they do is they, alongside with what I do annually, we do a needs assessment. 5 agencies, now we just took on a 6th one. We built a lot of these facilities so that they are in there rent-free for only $1 a year. And a lot of the money now goes to maintain the facilities, because if these agencies had to put a new roof on or repair a playground or put new air conditioners in, that would come out of their program and service budget. So we're there to help maintain them, as well as support special project requests if they have a shortcoming on funding. And we reach from Northport all the way through North Sarasota County. I'm just going to take you through the agencies. Down in the South County area in Northport, we have the Florida Center for Early Childhood. They also have a campus up in Sarasota. Loveland Center is in Venice. Children First has a Venice location and Sarasota location. The new one that I mentioned is Venice Challenger Baseball. Recently, the foundation gave them a grant to get started on their field and what they're putting together, which is going to be a wonderful thing for the South County area. As we come farther north, we've got the Haven. We also have Sarasota County Special Olympics. So wonderful, wonderful agencies that are doing so much good. They are serving over 5,000 clients with special needs of all ages. And like I said, when you tour these agencies and you see how the money is being invested in them, that's really the way to appreciate it. Many of the agencies, I'm going to take Sarasota County Special Olympics as an example, Stephen.
Yes, yes.
We built that entire campus down in Venice, the running track, the training facility. So that entire campus was built thanks to Suncoast Charities for Children and the Suncoast Foundation. So they're in there rent-free. And we actually have some repairs coming up that we're going to be doing to that facility, among some other facilities. So the money stays local and the overhead is local. We have 2 employees, but we have, as I said earlier, we have over 500 volunteers that get involved in a number of ways.
That's so awesome. That's really, really awesome. Now, the Olympics, that was postponed, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I met the person that was helping coordinate that. That was, aside from what I do here with this broadcast in my day job, I met that just wonderful person who did some work for them, and she was in charge of putting that together. I'm trying to think of her name, but I can't think of it right now. But that's what it takes, is volunteers to make this come together. Mm-hmm,
yeah, and it's hard. I mean, it's harder now for people to volunteer. People are doing 4 or 5 different jobs. They have a lot of stress on them. So every volunteer we get, we so appreciate them taking the time to do it. And usually 9 times out of 10, it's a very positive experience for them, almost always. And they also get to see at many of our events some of the clients that we are supporting. and that puts a face with why we're doing what we're doing. So all of that comes together, and that's what really makes it run.
That's beautiful, and that's what I was going to ask you about. I know that for myself, I've experienced it, but I'd like for you to share maybe some of your stories. Um, is that when people volunteer, not only are they helping their community and helping the cause, whatever that might be, but they benefit as the volunteer. I know I did, and of course, they are helping the others. Now, tell us about maybe some stories there, because I know that
Yeah.
it's symbiotic. Both people get something out of this.
Well, they do. I'm going to use an example from the Grand Prix last year. We do an event every year. It's called Meet and Greet Who's in the Driver's Seat. It's something a little brainchild I had several years ago. And I said, a lot of the clients that are at these agencies can't go see the boat races. So let's bring the boat races to them. And what we do is, for anybody that can't get out to the races, we bus a lot of the clients to the Hyatt. We have every race team, every racer there, signing autographs, giving giveaways to these clients, and to see the smiles on their faces. And the volunteers that get involved with that, all of them last year were all new and came up to me and said, Lucy, we had no idea. We had no idea, what this does for so many agencies. And to see the smiles on their faces, we take it for granted. We can go to the beach, we can watch boat racing, we can go to a block party. Because of the heat, because of the weather, because of physical restrictions that so many of these clients have, and their families unable to be able to transport them many times, this was a very special day where we could bring them inside where it was air conditioned, and for 2 hours, 100% of the focus of all these racers were on those children, teens, and adults. It's not just kids. And that was special. And those volunteers came back and said, wow, we want to stay involved. What else can we help with? Because some of the events we can get the clients to, some of them we can't. So this was a perfect example just to talk about the 10 people that were there checking people in and volunteering, and how it impacted them and what it meant to them.
And I know I personally relate to that, because I was there last year, and I was giving people their bags as they were going in, and it was so
There
fun.
you go. Yep.
The meet and greet is one of my favorite parts of that race, absolutely, because of course you can meet all kinds of great people. You can meet the drivers, you can meet the owners. It is quite fun. As a matter of fact, and a few years ago, and I want to talk about this too, because this is all part of that boat race event, is that I met Edgar Hansen with the Deadliest Catch, and what a super guy! I love this guy.
Edgar's
And
awesome.
he was your I guess spokesperson, or the committee fishing thing. Maybe you can clarify that. But you take kids out fishing, right?
Yes.
These kids that don't get a chance to do this.
Oh my gosh, Stephen, I'm glad you brought that up, because we do an event with the Grand Prix called the Friendliest Catch. And Edgar and his family are friends of mine, and I said, Edgar, why don't you come down for this and be the grand marshal of the block party and be part of the Friendliest Catch fishing tournament? He was wonderful. A few of the other fishermen off Deadliest Catch came down too, a few years in a row. And what it is there's 80 boats, roughly 80 boats, that take these kids out for the day on the bay. The captains volunteer their time. They take them out. Everybody's a winner. It's a catch and release. And then they come back to the Sarasota Outboard Club, and we provide them a lunch. Everybody gets an award. Everybody gets a goodie bag. And yes, Edgar was part of that several years as the chair and the grand marshal, honorary chair, I should say. And the kids just loved it. He loved it, and it's a great event.
It is a great event, and that's one of the things that I wanted to do too, is to take these children out to go fishing, because I'm a huge fisherman. I love it. It's a great thing to do, but that's the thing that struck me so much about one of the facets of what your foundation was doing. Just sharing that love, and helping people experience things that they could never experience before.
Yeah. I mean, when you think of it, Stephen, I take it for granted. You go
Right.
fishing, you go walk on the beach. And I think it also impacts the parents of a lot of these clients because a lot of these families are low income. A lot of them have challenges with transportation. A lot of these clients are full-time residents at the facilities that not only provide them day services, but they also live there on campus. So it's a great relief for the parents to have them be able to go out and have this experience, and also gives them a little bit of a break too, knowing that they're cared for and they're going to have a great day out on the water. So I think it means as much to the parents and the families as many times as it does to the clients.
Yes, that's so beautiful. I mean, I just love that. Oof, I'm just getting goosebumps thinking about it. It's just so much fun. And we are talking about volunteering tonight, people. And we want you to volunteer in your communities too. We really do. We want you to take action and make an impact, a positive impact in people's lives. And that's why Lucy is with us this evening, because Lucy is making such a positive impact in her community. And she does a lot of other things too as well. Now, and I'll just touch on that briefly. Now, you're also a manager and a publicist too.
Mhm.
And so you do a couple other things that are not necessarily related to the nonprofit. Maybe you tell us about that as well.
Yeah, I mean, probably over 10 years ago, I was approached by someone and said, and this person was on national TV, and he said, I'm probably going to need some help with some marketing. And, I've got all these appearances I've got to coordinate. I've got contracts I need to negotiate. Do you think you could help me? I said, look, I'll give it a try. I said, I didn't think I'd be doing special events. Let's try this, because I did have a knack for getting sponsorships, working with contracts, handling media. Well, it actually worked out quite great. And that stint ended. And then I got approached again through people that know other people. And I just said, well, I'll just start freelancing it. So right now, I have a couple clients and I enjoy it. It's something separate from my charity job where I can negotiate some national contracts. I can help them with their media, and also work on press releases and coordinate their calendar and their schedules, especially with a lot of the accounts that they're working with. I enjoy it. So it's really a freelance thing. I've also helped with some marketing and media that's not in the not-for-profit sector, and it's also not in this area. But I enjoy doing it, and it's led to a lot of great connections and a lot of relationships, business relationships that have really worked out well. So yeah, you never know. You never know where that path is going to take you, you know?
Well, yes. And now we'll back up then, and I'll say, as executive director for Suncoast Charities for Children, what is your role with that? What are you doing as the director for the foundation? Maybe you can tell our viewers, what is
Yeah.
your responsibilities as the director?
Well, fundraising is number one. So every year we do a 3-year strategic plan, and every year I set different goals and objectives for the charity, and the primary focus there is fundraising. We have to raise money because now we've got 6 agencies that we're going to be providing support to. So to that end, when I said earlier, almost all of our revenue is event driven. We have the 2 big festivals a year. Within those festivals, you take Thunder by the Bay Motorcycle and Music Festival, for example. You've got a kickoff party. I've got a sporting clay tournament and a 3-day festival. When you get into the Grand Prix, we have a golf classic, we have a car show, we have a kickoff party, we have the fishing tournament, we have the block party, we have the races, we have a beach cleanup. And then, Stephen, we get into other events. When COVID-19 hit, as we all know, and having to cancel the Powerboat races, I had to get very creative, which is why I created the Blast on the Bay Fun Run, because it's something I knew we could raise some money with, still keep the boating community engaged, but I have to really retool what we're doing. We're going to be doing another new event called the Red, White, and Blue Poker Chip Run in August. That's going to be with the motorcycle community. And then in September, We're going to be doing a last call before fall into summer social and comedy show. So again, we got to fill that void for funding. My responsibilities are primarily fundraising, and within that, I have to secure the sponsors, secure all the necessary permits that go along with that, recruit the volunteers. I'm so thankful. I want to give a shout out to Lisa Bear, who works with me. Lisa really handles the social media side of things and helps keep me straight, because it gets very fast and furious because we're coordinating multiple events at multiple times. But it's really soup to nuts, everything from the marketing to the media to the sponsorships to the permitting to the volunteer recruitment. So we kind of do it all, and we make it work.
That's a lot to do, I tell you. That's a lot to be responsible for. You do a great job of it too, by the way. Thank you for all.
As I said, we got some great folks that are involved too. So
we do, and yes, Lucy, you're doing a great job too, by the way, as well. I wanted to say that too. We're going to go to some comments here. I just want to introduce a couple people, and then I've got another question for you. But I would like to make sure that we get some comments up there.
That's
we can start here with Randy Smith. Yeah, I'm a little biased. He's my brother, so we'll put him on up there. And he loves the races. We were talking about that earlier. He's thanking everybody for joining. He loves to go set the tent up, and he's going to miss out on that. I think he said, gosh, 11, 12, 13 years they've been doing that, where they put the tent up on the beach. But Peggy Brow is with us as well. Thank you so very much for joining. I know that I'm not going to get to all the comments or all the things. I am broadcasting to a couple different destinations, but we want you to know how much we appreciate that you have joined us. We want you to share this video out as well. Let people know about it, because part of this is, of course, I just wanted to showcase the Suncoast Charities for Children because of what they do. But the point is, it's about volunteering. It's about doing something for your community and stepping up. And it can be very simple. And I'll let Lucy talk about how maybe you can do something in your community, and it doesn't have to cost you money, and it doesn't just maybe your time. And your time is so it can just make the difference, a complete world of difference in somebody's life. All right. So what else do we have here comments wise? Wolfie Smith is with us as well. Hi, Grandpa, and hi, Uncle Randy. Okay. Well, guess who that is? Okay. So we really appreciate everybody that's joining us here now, but I do want to back up and say, okay, what do I want to ask you though next? I wanted to ask you about the Florida Center for Early Childhood. Tell us about that. I think that is a dynamic organization here in town. I know that the LWN Foundation is going to want to work with them as well. And so can you tell us about the Florida Center, please?
I would love to. They offer so many services. The one that most people are aware of are their speech and occupational and physical therapy services. The Florida Center's model is no child gets turned away. They focus from 18 months through 8 years old. And, you know, a lot of parents, if they feel that their child may have a developmental delay, they can bring them to the Florida Center for testing. They're on a sliding scale. They don't want to turn anybody away. So a sliding payment scale, if you can pay, great. If you can't, they're still going to test your child. And I think that's remarkable. The therapists over there are just some of the best therapists I've ever seen. And they are so dedicated. So the speech, occupational, physical therapy is one of their services. Another service that they have is their Healthy Families program. And that team identifies families that may be at risk. Maybe there's a parent that passed away suddenly. They may be having some financial trouble. There may be a divorce that's involved with the family. It really identifies families that may be at risk, that have young children, and their team comes in to support the family so that they can get back on track and things can keep moving along smoothly. And
I would
important as well from physicians, from people that the family may be interacting with. So did you have a question, Steve, on that one?
Well, I was curious because with COVID-19, I know that a lot of families are struggling right now, so they are probably
Oh
pretty
my
busy
gosh.
and
Yeah.
trying to have to adjust to maybe
Yeah.
a much higher demand for their services than normal.
It's,
And go
yeah.
ahead.
In the request for services has spiked just off the charts. You know, the unfortunate thing is on the physical therapy side and the speech and occupational therapy side. Um, Things are starting to get back to normal on that, but telehealth was a service that the Florida Center used with the families when we were going through the worst of this, you know, from March, say, till early part of May. Um,
Mhm.
the other thing that the Florida Center is probably, I don't want to misquote myself here, but I think they are one of probably 3 centers for fetal alcohol diagnosis, being a diagnostic center, one of 3 in the state, where parents that may have drank during pregnancy, and feel that their child may be suffering from a fetal alcohol syndrome disorder. There's certain signs that they can tell if the child's developmentally delayed. They can go in and be tested for that. So that really was a pioneering feature that the center, and Catherine Shea especially, who's their executive director, was very focused on, and really is something to be proud of, because there's not very many of these fetal alcohol centers in the United States, period. And she's really been a trendsetter and has gone to speak to other communities about how they can set up the clinics and training other staff. But that was a wonderful service as well.
That is awesome. I'm glad that you enlightened us about that organization, and we're proud that they're right here in our backyard. Now,
Yeah.
I wanted to do this. I'm going to just share well, we'll go to this question first, and then I want to share my screen with you, folks, because I'm going to just show you what you can look here for to go to their website, Suncoast Charities for Children. If you can help them out, of course, I'm sure that they wouldn't mind that at all. They are a great organization helping other great organizations, and that's the beauty of it. And I'll show you their website so that you can go up there. I'm going to share that screen. But Randy has a question here, and it's a great question. So I'd like you to maybe enlighten us here. He asks us, which event brings in the most help for your wonderful organization, Thunder by the Bay or the Thunderboats? But then you do.
Well,
he loves the concerts. He's a concert guy, right?
okay. So thank you for the question, Randy, first of all. The Grand Prix, Sarasota Powerboat Grand Prix, was always a big revenue producer. What we found is when we rebranded Thunder by the Bay to a Thunder by the Bay Motorcycle and Music Festival, that now is our biggest fundraiser. And part of the reason is that event used to be outside, it used to be downtown, it used to be free to the public.
Mm-hmm.
Now, since we moved to the fairgrounds, we can charge a nominal gate fee of $5. That helped us increase our revenues. The unfortunate thing with the powerboat races, you can't charge admission. Some races, I know Inglewood charges people to be on the beach, but after 36 years to now attempt to charge people to go on the beach to watch the boat races, I don't want to see that. Why I'm doing that. That would not be the right thing to do. But the expenses are so high. To do a powerboat race, it's $385,000 in expenses.
Wow.
For cranes, helicopters, permits, environmental protection, portalets, fencing, everything you can imagine, just the bare necessities, and a race sanctioning contract for the organization that comes in to sanction the race, and insurances. So that's just really heavy on the expenses. However, it still raises us money, and it's a big economic impact booster. 29 million last year during the Grand Prix for the economy, and Thunder by the Bay generated right around 9 million for the local economy. So great economic revenue boosters. But again, if you're asking me the question, which raises the most money, Thunder by the Bay right now.
Yeah, that's a great exciting time. I haven't been down there. We were talking about the Outlaws a few years ago.
Yeah.
That was a great deal. And downtown, it was so much fun. It really was.
It was. But we outgrew it though.
Yeah.
Steve, now that we're at the fairgrounds, we are able to have the freestyle acts. We've been able to double our vendors, which again is revenue to the charity. Next year, we're talking about bringing in some custom bike builders for 2 days. So we've been able to grow it. I miss downtown too, but there was no way we would be able to recoup the revenue like we are now and also be able to do all the things that we're doing. Sometimes things run their course, they outgrow the area, and downtown's changed too. I mean,
Yes.
it's not what it was 20 years ago when Thunder by the Bay first started, right?
No, but it was so much fun walking up and down Main Street, looking at all
I
the
know.
motorcycles. The motorcycles filled the
I
street.
know.
It was sweet. So what I want to do now, I know that you're kind of on a time schedule here for us. We really appreciate that you took time for us this evening. I know that. I want to quickly just bring up a screen share. I'm going to do this for the first time. Bear with me, folks. We're going to put this up here, and we're going to show you the website for Suncoast Charities for Children. It's a great website. We'd appreciate if you go there, take a look. That will help you to be able to familiarize yourself with what they do and the programs that they've got. We appreciate your support. I know that it's a great organization, and I'm proud to be a volunteer for it. So take your time, go and look, and let them know what you think about what they're doing, because of course your feedback is super important to not only the charity, but to help them be able to do what they're doing. So what would you tell the viewers, Lucy, about making an impact in their communities? What would you suggest to somebody when it comes to volunteering?
Well, first, I know time is limited for a lot of people. So what I would encourage them to do is if you go to suncoastcharitiesforchildren.org and you click on the events tab, you'll see all the events that we do. You can just go in and email us to say, hey, I like this event. Can you tell me what volunteer opportunities there are? Because what we're doing now is we're creating a menu of opportunities that people go in and look at. Maybe they can only be there 2 hours. Maybe they can be there longer. And we try to match it up that way. So I would just encourage people to browse through the website, look at our different events. If there's one you like, just send us an email. There's a to reach us button there. Go ahead and just send it. It comes right to my desk, and we'd love to tell you more detail about the event and what opportunities there are. The other thing, Stephen, I want to mention too is sometimes when I have people say, hey, especially around the holiday time, we'd like to donate. We want to do something for the charity. We want to make a donation, whether it be financial or dropping off items. I encourage people to take a tour, and we can arrange that for you. So anybody that would like to have a tour of any of the agencies we serve, I heavily encourage you to do that before you donate. To me, that's important. I want to know where my money's going. And I think that's important to get out there, that we can set up those tours for you so you can see firsthand the impact that we're making.
That's awesome. Yes. We're going to have to do tours, because I haven't been in these places and I'm looking forward to it.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
haven't been down to the Venice for the Olympics. That will be really great for the Special Olympics. I got to do that.
Oh,
So
yeah. Great things.
I've got some tasks I have to take care of and do some things, because they're on my wish list and that bucket list that I got to do. And I love to volunteer, because like I didn't mention it earlier, but I tell you that it's rewarding when I have done it. I have learned and I've grown as a result of that. And I know that I've made a difference in somebody's life. And Lucy, you're making the difference in a whole lot of people's lives. Boy,
Thanks.
we just love you. We appreciate you and all that you are doing for the community. Have you got any final words that you might want to just share with the viewers then before we wrap it up here?
I think the biggest thing that I like to share with people, I have a saying that I live by, and the saying is this: failure is when you don't try. And the reason I say that is people will say, oh gosh, I should have done this, or oh, I should have volunteered. You know what? You may volunteer for something, it may not be the right fit. You may want to go volunteer for something else. You know, just try. Failure is when you don't try. So as long as you're trying to make that difference, no matter what it is, it could be as simple as saying good morning to someone on your way to work. I think that's important, especially with everything that we're being faced with in the world today. You know, let's just appreciate each other, treat people as you'd want to be treated, and the volunteering. It's always something that we've prided ourselves on for many, many years in this country. And I just hope more people will get out there and give a couple hours here and there, whether it be for Suncoast Charities for children or a charity of their choice, because like you said, Stephen, the reward is the feeling you get knowing that you made a difference. And that to me is what it's about.
It's a beautiful feeling. It really is. We want to thank everybody this evening for joining us. Thank you so very much, Lucy.
It was great being here. I hope you'll have me back sometime.
Oh, absolutely. We'll have you back. There's no doubt about it. I just love the foundation and anything I can do to help and support you and what you're doing for this community and the ripple effect that it does for everybody to wake themselves up. Hey, maybe I should volunteer. You know, it's as simple as just reaching out, finding whatever resonates with you is what you should do, you know. For me, it's like boat races. I mean, that's a huge deal. But you know, it's
I
other
know
things
you
like
like
that.
those boat races, Steve. Yeah.
But you know, it's also the fishing thing for me too.
Yeah.
So those are kind of like things that I go to. But
Yeah.
whatever your passion is, reach out in your community and help someone and make a difference. And
Absolutely.
you know, someday you, whoever you are, might
Yeah.
end up in the show because that's what the show is all about. People making a
Mhm.
positive impact in community. So thank you. I'll be back Monday morning about 6:10, 6:15 a.m. for the Sunrise Daybreakers Tribe. Join us for that. We'll be back on Wednesday evening at 7 o'clock with Dr. Jenny. Ask Dr. Jenny. Y'all have a great weekend. Thank you so very much again. Have a safe, enjoyable weekend and get on a volunteer list with someone.
There
Thank
you
you,
go.
everybody. We appreciate you. Good
Thanks,
night.
Steve.
Thank you very much.